Hi, welcome or welcome back. My name is Yu Wing. You can call me Yu Win or Win, and I'm happy that we get to be together whenever and wherever you are tuning in. And so, this video is in a 90-day series that I'm doing to share my voice, to share my story, and I hope that it inspires you in some way. And so I like to start each video sharing a practice. And so this one gets into some specific details. But when I try to rebalance or recalibrate my chakras or my energy centers, I will imagine that each one is a lotus flower. So when I bring attention there, the petals sort of open up. And then as I'm moving, whether I'm going from the bottom up or from the top down, I like to imagine that the flower is turning counterclockwise when I'm trying to balance or recalibrate it, to heal it, and that when it is moving and when it is balanced, then it's spinning clockwise. And so I'll go through the energy centers and I'll imagine them opening and then turning counterclockwise for them to balance and heal and recalibrate. And then I leave them to turn clockwise as I move on to the next energy center. So I just wanted to share that in the case that it's something that you might want to check out or try in a meditation, or if you have a chance to just tune in and just go quickly through your chakras. And so today I want to talk a little bit about the difference between three words. So here where I am, we will be celebrating a holiday that can revolve around the idea of gratitude. I think a lot of times gratitude or thankfulness comes up for this holiday. And so I sometimes wonder what the difference is between appreciation, thankfulness, and gratitude. And so the way that I had thought about this when I was discussing it with some of my friends, is I was thinking that thankfulness is something that is experienced outside of ourselves. So I'm, thankful for this person. And so I say thank you, right? So thankfulness, thank you. Like I'm thank you for showing up. Thank you for being here. Thank you for passing the potatoes. Um, but sometimes the way that I've thought of this is it can be a little bit more surface level. Because sometimes when we are taught to say thank you, it can just be out of like social politeness or, just sort of like keeping the social wheels turning. And then when I think of appreciation, I think of it as acknowledging somebody's qualities. Um, I've sort of used it in spaces to um, honor somebody's presence within a group. I appreciate your thoughtfulness. I appreciate the time you spend showing up. Um, I appreciate I appreciate your leadership, right? And so it's for me seeing some part of somebody or seeing them. So when I'm appreciating them. And then gratitude for me felt like it came from the heart. Um, the sense of fulfillment, the sense of satisfaction. And so, I was having a couple of different conversations about this. And it was obviously difficult to express and to explain. And so I hadn't thought about it. And then today, since I wanted to talk about this in this video, I was looking up what the difference was. And so I found on the website emotional.com, um, in this article written or published May 2nd, 2025. Um, the article says most people confuse these three emotions, but your alignment depends on it. One of the most common emotional mix ups is the substitution of words like gratitude, thankfulness, and appreciation as if they're interchangeable. But in the language of vibrational alignment, they each carry a distinct frequency. And so they go on to explain that appreciation is state one, which coincides with pure joy or radiant appreciation. And they say this is one of the most expansive emotional states available. Appreciation isn't something we try to feel, it arises naturally when we are fully aligned and present. It's luminous. It often bypasses language altogether. You're not thinking about what to be grateful for. You're basking in what already is. And so they go on to highlight that the felt sense of appreciation is open hearted, peaceful, awe filled. The momentum is fully expanded, no effort, no reaching. An example is watching the sky shift at sunrise, fully immersed in the beauty of the moment. They go on to explain thankfulness as state 11, which coincides with thankful and praising. And they state thankfulness is directed energy. It's warm and expressive, often vocal. It might include praise, prayer, or acknowledgement. Unlike appreciation, which is more internal and luminous, thankfulness reaches outward in reverence or recognition. So for this one, they say that the felt sense includes soft, steady warmth and active recognition. Goes on to share that the momentum is flowing outward from the core. And then an example is genuinely thanking someone for their support or a meaningful moment. The last one, gratitude, they say, is state 14, and it coincides with feeling hopeful, optimistic, or grateful. And they say gratitude, despite its popularity in personal development circles, doesn't always calibrate as high as people assume. Often it appears when someone is reaching toward alignment, acknowledging the good amidst a situation that isn't yet fully resolved, or with focus on what they've needed to overcome. So for this, they say the felt sense includes gentle, sometimes effortful. The momentum is reaching inward, a step toward relief. An example is I'm grateful I learned from that experience, even though it was painful. So, this is kind of the opposite of what I was thinking, except for maybe the piece about thankful being like expressed outward or towards somebody. But just something to think about. And I would be curious to hear if you have any pieces or resources or thoughts or ideas about this or how these emotions have shown up for you in your life, in your journey. And now I don't know where I'm at. So it'll be very interesting this week to think about thank you cards, to think about an attitude of gratitude. And I have been listening to Louise Hay, and she does talk a lot about the importance of appreciation. She uses, saying thank you, bed, thank you, sun, thank you for waking up, talking about gratitude and appreciation. So I know that a lot of these things can just feel like I'm playing with semantics, but I think, again, like it's sort of that resonance and the, I guess, the data that I've picked up on these words have given them the sort of meaning that I have attributed. And so it does matter sometimes, right? Like you can use a word, you can express a concept, and the other person has a very different or nuanced idea of that. And so then, because of this, I think what it's doing is it's just making me think about when I'm expressing myself to someone, kind of checking to see what it may mean for them. Um, because, I can say, I appreciate you, but maybe they see that as, oh, it's surface level, right? And maybe it doesn't sort of land. And then it makes me think of the idea like you can communicate and you can say all the right words, but um, like comprehension or, how the other person interprets what you're saying. And then it makes me think about intention versus impact or intention and impact. I can have good intentions in expressing how I feel towards someone, but maybe the impact um, is neutral or offensive. And so, whether it's these words or any words, right? Any concept. So, it's got me thinking a lot about communication and how to sort of build in a feedback loop to check like what the person interpreted and how it impacts them. So just some thoughts and ideas that are floating around in my mind. I yeah, I'm gonna let my brain slow down and pause. I'm gonna go read. Um, but I thank you for joining me on this particular spot in my journey. Thank you for listening. Thank you for showing up. I appreciate the opportunity to be here and to have the opportunity to speak. And grateful that I get to figure out what's unfolding, even if it's not resolved yet. So I hope you are healthy and safe and experiencing ease wherever you are. I hope you know that you are worthy and deserving of unconditional love. And if this is the end of our journey, thank you for being a part of it. And if you will be connecting with me another time, please take good care. I look forward to connecting with you then. Okay, bye bye.